All right, so this is going to be a video about Boolean expressions in Python. Now, when you hear the term Boolean, what I want you to think about is outputting a value of either true or false. So a Boolean data type either has a true value or a false value. Now, we went over arithmetic operators before, and then we went over assignment operators. Now we're going to go over what's called Boolean operators. The Boolean operators that we're going to be talking about are the equals, which basically tests, is this equal, are two values equal to each other, and then it outputs true or false. And then there's less than, there's greater than, there's less than or equal to, there's greater than or equal to, and there's also not equal to. And that's with an exclamation point and an equal sign. So to kind of cement this understanding of these Boolean operators, I'm going to create some code to kind of test all of these out. So let's say that A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 2. Now, if I said print A is equal to B here, and then I run this, now since A is not equal to B, it should output false. Waiting a little bit here. And then you can see it outputs false because A is not equal to B. Now, if I change this to A is not equal to B, well, clearly it's not. So this should output true. And as you can see, it outputs true right there. So I'm going to retype this really quick. A is equal to B. Okay. And then I'm going to do something like prints A is greater than B. Okay. So now it should say false, true, true, because A is greater than B. And then if I do something like A is less than or equal to B, that should be a false, true, true, false. Okay, so that's basically how to use the Boolean operators as I have them up here. The next thing I want to go over is called logical operators. And there's three that we're going to talk about. It's the and, or, so and, or, and not. Those are the three that we're going to cover. So I'm going to go over and first. The way and works is if you had something that is true and true on either side of the and, then it's going to output true. So the only way to get true with and is if both things are true. So I'm going to hit this right here, and then it's going to output a true here. So what I'm going to do to kind of separate this is I'm going to comment these all out. So if I run this again, it outputs to be a true. Now, what you can do instead of just writing the true here, it is also important to note that the true does have to be capitalized, but I'm going to actually have a true statement. So I'm going to have something like A is not equal to B. That is definitely true. And then here I'm going to say A is greater than B, which is also true. This should also output a true, as you can see. Now, if I wrote something like print, let's just say false. Let's just say false and true. Okay, this is going to be, since one of them is false, it's automatically going to output false on this. I'm going to comment that out so you can just see it for yourself, and that prints false. And it's the same reasoning as the other one. So to kind of show this, let me get rid of this here. I'm going to do equals right here. So we know this second one is still true, but it's going to be false and true. Still outputs a false, as you can see right there. Now, order does not matter for this, for the and. So if I did like A is greater than B, and A is, I don't know, equal to B, this should be true and false, so it's still going to output a false there. So these are both false. So that's the and. The or is a little bit different. The way the or works is as long as one of them is true, it's going to output a true. It doesn't need to be both of them. It could be both of them, but as long as it's one of them, that's the main thing here. So if it's true or true, that outputs a true. Okay, but if I change this to a false, that outputs to a true still. If I change this to a false and this to a true, order doesn't matter for the or either. But if I change this to a false, the only way to actually get a false is if they're both false for or, and you get a false right there. Okay, not is basically the opposite of whatever's there. Okay, so if I did something like, let's see here, not false, false or not false right here is going to be true. So this will actually output a true because there's one true in this, technically. This is the equivalent of saying false or true. If I wrote not true here, that's going to be false. And then I wrote false here, or it's going to be false. because not true is false. It is essentially, it's just going to be false or false. So that's basically an intro to logical operators and Boolean operators, all dealing with Boolean expressions in Python. This is just a very brief intro to what Boolean expressions is all about. If you have any questions about any of this video, let me know.